Welcome again. Now I am going to give you some tips about blowing, how to hold the flute, like that. If you follow the simple tips, you can play the flute effortlessly, with ease, and produce pleasant music without much difficulties. So simple tips. First thing, you you must first, if you have difficulty in your blowing, the getting proper sound from the flute, first check the flute for any defect. uh, if the flute has any defect, it's, see, flute is a very soft, tender, fragile. If you hit it, it will have minor cracks. It will make the sound, you cannot get to the proper sound. So first check your flute whether your flute has any defects. Second, the posture. You should not stoop. You should sit straight. Your shoulders broadened. It should not be like this. So if you sit like this, spine straight, shoulders broadened, then ribs spread, then only your lungs can hold maximum air. Yeah, only if you can intake more air to the lungs full capacity, you can play the flute without any breaks, gaps, obstructions. Especially for to play the lower pitches, you see, you for to get proper sound, we have to fill up the full volume of the flute with the air. If you are playing the high pitch, you are filling this flute with high pitched air. So you won't be, it will not be very difficult to get the proper sound in the higher pitches. Only if the flute has any defects, the higher pitches will become difficult. But the lower pitches, the very low pitches, if suppose one long sentence, one full line is in the lower pitch, you have to fill this flute with the low pitched. You cannot blow forcefully. You have to, but uninterrupted air has to be given into that. For that, the main for blowing, for playing the lower pitches, mainly you need more air, because you have to produce the music with less force. After the flow, air enters and coming out, it will lose. You need more air, otherwise than the higher pitches. So you sit straight with your shoulders broadened, your ribs are broadened, the spine straight, and intake. Remember to inhale and fill your lungs to its full capacity. You can check that by, if you inhale properly, your stomach will move, come out and in. So if you just inhale a little air, you can play half sentence. If you want to play without any, especially in the lower pitches, you have to fill your lungs to their full capacity. The next point, how to hold the flute. If you are a right-hander like me, your left hand 3 fingers, these 3 fingers would close the first 3 holes. Then the right hand's 4 fingers should hold, close the 4, this like this. See, you have to close them without any gaps. You have to firmly, you have to close them fully. Suppose if you close like this is sa. Suppose if you cannot close like this and if you close like this, it becomes re. So this is higher re 2. Suppose if you close like this is becomes the lower ga 1. So you need to learn to, especially the first 5 6. So no, see, if you close like this is sa. You need to close this perfectly airtight. If you make this small mistake, it will become re. So you cannot get the proper sound. If you close this perfectly, you will get the re 2, higher re. Suppose you make this mistake, you cannot close this, it becomes ga. So learn to close the holes perfectly without any leak. The air should not leak. It will produce another note. So that is the next point. Third, how to hold. See, even after you closing everything, if you cannot keep the flow, it has to be fixed, steady. Otherwise, this hole will slightly, you don't have to, you have to, it should be stand perfectly in a place. The 2 thumbs and this is by pressing this part of the finger to the chin, and this with because the for ga we have to open all the flute will, there is a risk of, so you learn to press perfectly. Even if it does not fall, it will, if the position changes, you will get unpleasant sounds. So the chin, this point and the two thumbs, they hold the flute tightly. And even after, some people asked, even after I am playing for some months, suddenly in now and then I get unpleasant sounds. That is one of the reason my teacher used to say, you must see the left hand due to the chin and this support, the right hand tend to goes down, because we never do anything keeping our hand this lifted position. We do all cleaning, writing, everything, we keep our hands in, below. So we are not used to keeping our hands in the lifted position. So after some time we tend to lower our hands. So that point should be noted. The hands should be strengthened by doing some exercises like that. So posture and the strength of the hands are very important. Otherwise, if we cannot hold the flute firmly and in a position, if we keep on moving, the whole position will be changing. You cannot get a proper sound. And the hole should be in the below the lower lip, in the center of the mouth, below the lower lip, and the you have to that upper lip should be like this and make a blowing hole which should be small and sharp. If the hole you make will be is wide, then the air cannot enter fully. It will get wasted. So you have to, with the upper, will be keeping the upper lip covering the upper teeth, and you have to have some gap between the two jaws. You need to, because for some tongue has also some role in playing the flute, and separate notes. Some if you do that, for that, so there should be and even air to go freely also, you need some gap between the jaws. So keeping your upper lip covering your upper teeth and making a sharp blowing hole, not a wide one, and keeping the flute below the lower lip in center, and having gap between the jaws for tongue movement and air easily for going and in and out. You and have that, and having the strengthen your hand by exercise, sitting straight, you follow all this, and the hole should be, you should not blow full air into the, when you blow you can notice half the sound will enter and the other will go out, making a whistling sound. That half escaping and half entering. If you fully, you cannot get the proper sound. So the hole should be like this, not so. Half air should be entering the flute and half should escape. Don't correct that. You should not blow all the air into the flute. So half escaping makes the whistling sound. That whistling is our flute music. And one another important point is, you should be in a relaxed state of mind. There should not be any tightness, muscle tightness, stiffness here. If there is stress, stiffness in your cheeks, lips, you cannot blow freely. You cannot get a nice sound. So you should be in a you should be in a relaxed state of mind. And after following all these steps, keeping your shoulders broad, ribs broad, and taking the air to the completion, full 2 lungs, full capacity air, and holding the flute firmly and without any air escape, you have to close, and keeping the flute in the center of the here in the below the lower lip, and the with the lips covering the upper teeth and making a sharp. If after this you can check whether your blowing your blowing is get wasted, or it's one pointed sharp enough to enter the flute and make a music. You can check that by having some paper. See, first one you just play, that is normal blowing. That that see, the paper has to just move. Then from forceful. So in some songs, in some places, for that it has to jump. So you can check that by keeping small paper balls and for just blowing it has to move, and for forceful blowing it has to jump. That is the difference. This is just moving. So it should some for some songs it need forceful blowing. So this is one you can check whether you are making a sharp hole and blowing correctly, or your air get wasted, whether your blowing has enough force. You can check that by this test. And you need to understand that flute is a very fragile one. You should handle it very carefully. You must place it under on a soft cloth without getting it hit, or you should not it should not fall. You need to be very careful. If you follow all these, even after following all this, if you have difficulty in the beginning, it is also quite natural, because in the flute we are doing, see, if the lower sa is this, higher pitch, high sa also this, sa, sa. So in the beginning, in the string instruments, keyboard, sa, lower sa, higher sa, are they different places are there. But in this flute, only one, lower and higher pitches are manipulated only by our blowing. So if you follow these tips, definitely you will achieve the goal. But even after that, it's quite natural if you have any difficulties in the beginning. It's because you have to all the blowing has half work. It's not like in the string instruments, keyboard, everything. You one hand is just they do manual work. The one hand they put in one place. So it's in the beginning, string instruments and all the instruments are in the beginning very easy. Flute is in the beginning difficulty. After that, flute is easy, because in the string instrument they have to run here and there, so many places. It is really difficult. Flute sitting posture, everything is difficult. Flute is a very small one. It's easy. So in the you please follow all the tips I have given clearly. Watch this tutorial many times and follow all the tips. Definitely you will start playing fluently and pleasantly. In the initial stages, if you get any difficulties, please understand this is part of learning. That's all. Okay, let us meet with another video very soon. Till then, bye. Have a great day.